RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. What's up? Hope everybody can hear me. I'm sitting down. I'm a little tired. Let's see. Oh, okay. I can hear myself. Hi, Pookie's mommy. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining the chat so quickly. All right. We're going to get Robyn on the phone. We're going to do a simulcast, but Robyn is going to only be on the phone, which is fine. She's entitled. Hold on. Where's my Skype, Rooney? Thank you for bearing with me. I'm very tired. I don't know. We'll see how long the show goes tonight. I always threaten that. Then it goes on after midnight. Let's see. Well. All right. Oh, shit. I gotta ask her which one to call. There's two numbers here. Which number we didn't discuss that. Should I call? Hi, guys. Hi, Jim. Nice to see you, Jim. Thank you for showing up and doing your night job in which you usually pay. You pay for the privilege of being a moderator. I appreciate that. And thank you, Pookies, for your super chat. Yes, I know Skype. Which one? Which account? Yes, I know. Which account? You have two. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Bing bang, with just audio only, one ringy dingy. Hey, Lava.
The Chicago mob during Prohibition.
It'd be about the Italians.
It'd be about Italians.
Okay. Let's see.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, Tracy, I'm gonna ring off here because
please do, 'cause I'm
Tara has just chimed in and connected.
Okay, cool.
Please be okay, and please keep us posted.
Oh, trust me, baby. Like I said,
because I'd rather hear what you have to say than the multimillionaire for-profit media.
Right.
Because at least you and you don't have a network, and it hasn't given Nitwit near a bajillion dollars, and bowed down to kiss his skanky toe jam orange hairy toe.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing about all these, and I know you probably already mentioned this whole thing about sucker fuck, saying there will be no more fact checking on Facebook.
Oh no, that's how we started. It is now okay to refer to women as property.
Yep.
And to trans people as it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Fucking unbelievable.
But there's kind of a happy moment to it, because the minute he ended it, he immediately got hammered with fake headlines like, Mark Zuckerberg, dead at 36, says social media sites should not fact check posts. Or another headline that said, I killed Jeffrey Epstein, but still miss him every day. Mark Zuckerberg, 2023.
That's good.
Another one read, Mark Zuckerberg, recipient of world's first rat penis transplant, announces Meta will stop fact checking.
And what were the community notes for that?
I gotta love that.
I love rat penis.
Yeah, yes.
Actually, that's what is it? That's
Mark rat penis Zuckerberg, rat penis transplant Zuckerberg.
Make sure, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tracy, you have a safe evening and a good trip to Sacramento tomorrow.
Yes, I will, baby. And I love you guys.
And I know you're gonna. I know you're gonna kick ass facilitating those meetings.
Thank you, baby. Take care.
All right,
Love
you too.
guys.
Love you. Bye. I
What's
appreciate Tracy calling in to let us know what's going on the ground there in Los Angeles. Hey, Tara.
You can hear me?
I do hear you.
Oh, okay. Can everybody hear? Robyn is a lot louder, they're saying. I'm just trying to.
Okay, well, yeah, I've got to, we're just kind of doing this on the fly,
Yes,
so
it's fine.
I'm
trying to adjust it, but from what everyone on the chat is saying.
yeah,
But that's okay.
I've got to get you potted up.
Mm-hmm. But I might not be close to the mic either, so
Well,
that might be better.
I'm trying not to overdrive my mic and trying to not have you overdrive your channel either.
Right. Everybody. Okay, now they're saying yes. We can hear both of you.
Good.
Good. Yeah. Thank you, guys. All right. So, what was the report? I'm sorry I missed it. I fucking lost my phone in my own house.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I hate when that. And
That's why you have to have if you're using an iPhone, that's why you have to have an iPhone and an iPad.
Yeah.
Then you can find your iPad to do Find My
Well, I was
and
doing
make it play a
that.
little song.
Yes, no, I did.
Sound.
But here's the thing: I was doing Find My Phone, and I don't know if you know that if your phone is, if the volume's down, it won't play the noise. So that's what's really annoying.
I thought it did. Mine always does because I've almost always got my volume.
Really?
down.
No shit. Well, I don't, and I was looking for it, and I knew it was in the house because it was telling me it was, but then it was saying it was playing the sound, but it wasn't connected. And then I looked it up, and I said, can I make it play the sound through the iPad? And it said no. And then it gave me a whole list of, try to retrace your steps. And yeah, you know what I mean? Like it was telling, it was giving me
at this point in time with AI and whatnot, I'm surprised it didn't say, well, that's okay. It'll be in the last place you look.
Yes. Well, that's basically what it was saying. It was saying, but it says if it's on Do Not Disturb. See, look, I don't know if you can see it, guys. Let me get rid of that. It's finding my. It's binging, but no sound is coming out, and I do have the volume up now. I don't understand. Anyway, whatevs. I gotta figure it out.
Before we dive into the events of the day, and there are many.
Yes.
I did want to make mention to you, Malloy is going to be away from the microphone all next week.
Okay.
And wanted to know if we would be able to
yes, of course
fill in for him.
Of course.
Because we always have so much fun filling in for Malloy.
Anything for Mike. I know he's, his brother, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, his brother passed away. For those who don't know.
And he's headed out there to deal with matters of the estate.
So it's not like he's taking off on a vacation or anything.
Yeah, no, this is, and frankly, with what's going on, because he's going to Southern California, with what's going on, I wonder if he's going to be able to go. In fact, I need to message him and find out.
Where? So yes, we don't know. Is that it's the same area?
Yeah, somewhere in the greater Los Angeles area.
Oh shit! Wow. I have to text a bunch of people I know now that you're saying this. Yeah, I didn't realize it was this bad. Because I wasn't watching the corporate media today. I was doing other things. And also, work-related stuff for the show and stuff. But I'm sorry, am I mumbling? I feel like I am.
No, you're not. No, you're fine.
Okay.
If anybody's mumbling, it's me. It's a miracle I'm even making making vaguely human language sounding sounds.
Well, it's only going to get worse now. Well, because that's what I was thinking about. How what a horrible country this is now, and how
horrible.
Yeah, it's the worst, but in a different way. Like everything that they think is good, everything that is good they think is the worst. So, but just like what you were saying, how they could call women property, how what the fuck is happening? I hate this. I hate this timeline. And I hate billionaires. And I just wonder, how much longer are we all going to take it? I used to say that a lot. That was one of my little taglines back in the day when we were in the Bush administration. And it seemed like it was pretty rough back then. And now I'm like longing for those days. How much, but I have to say, like, how much longer are we going to take this shit? How much longer? It's only going to get worse because billionaires, have uncorked the spigot of disinformation. And it's going to really, I don't know if we can bounce back from this. Where are the guardrails of democracy? Democracy is not, wait, I'm just lowering this. We don't need the music. Democracy is not, it needs to be cultivated. It doesn't come by as because, a billionaire wanted to trickle it upon us. Wait, hold on. Fucking Boudica. What the fuck, bitch? What are you doing? I mean, I love her. I call her bitch. She's my bitch, so, Are you there?
I understand. Yeah.
No, she's doing what she. I'm really just an aside. I'm complaining now because I'm a little bit tired, but the fucking cats kept me up all night last night. I don't know what was happening, but it was like a jamboree. It was like a fucking cat jamboree in my house, and I couldn't take it. I wasn't invited. It was crazy. All of them. They were. They just kept. I don't know. They were kept. It was like they were having a party or something. It's nuts. And they kept waking me up. Oh shit. I wish I could show you what I'm seeing right now. It's Boudica, her paw coming under the computer and reaching out for my keyboard. Anyway, whatever. She's cute. She's lucky that she's got that going for her. But anyway, but today I was thinking about, because I don't know if you saw that Elon Musk, someone posted a tweet. It was a student from Finland posted a tweet saying that Twitter is, and Elon Musk is a purveyor of disinformation. Just trying to find the exact tweet. He wrote, Elon Musk is rapidly becoming the spreader of the largest spreader of disinformation in human history, hijacking political debates in the process. The EU must take action. He didn't say anything wrong there. And you know what Elon Musk tweeted to this guy? Who's a student.
The Finnish student? Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, he tweeted, F you, retard. Right? This is, and, Mehdi Hassan, who's, we all know he's great, liberal commentator, unapologetic. I appreciate his work. He wrote, imagine if 2 weeks before the inauguration in 2021, a top donor to Biden, who he had appointed to a top position in his administration, had gone on Twitter and said to a member of the public, F you, retard. Imagine the media's response and the pressure on Biden. Just imagine. Exactly. There's two different sets of rules and standards for one for right-wingers. Of course, they have no standards. And the others, it's for the rest of us who keep to the standards. And I don't know, frankly, if the Democrats have the effing spine to battle this at this time. They're too busy modeling decent, good behavior, hoping that everyone's going to follow suit. They don't get commended for it. They don't get patted on the back. And I'm not telling them to act like mongrels like Republicans do. But they have to be more forceful about this. Because what this shows me, this F you retard, is that the media is...
Well, and that's a hell of a term for him to use, being as how he's, made a point of telling the world how neuro-non-typical he is.
Yes. And right before, of course, the irony doesn't... It's like Melania Trump's Be Best her anti-bullying campaign.
Be
right?
best, blah.
Right? Like when she said her thing was gonna be anti-bullying. Like, bitch, please. Anti-bullying. Start at home.
Yeah, sit down.
Right? When he said, because he had just tweeted or something, whatever the fuck they do, fart. What did you say they do? They fart, they regurgitate, they, I don't know, a truth or something. Whatever they do, they vomit. He vomited up something about how we have to be nice to each other. We have to be kind.
Oh yeah. No, what I say is that you go on to X and post an excrement.
Right, excrement, exactly. Right. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I generally try to manifest you're a Buddhist. I'm not, but I try to incorporate some basic principles of common human decency in my life.
That's
but
what I consider Buddhism.
There is something about Leon Scum that just makes me think he needs to be bullied remorselessly.
Yeah, he needs. I mean, there's something.
Oh look.
Right.
And I mentioned, and I don't know why it stuck in my head, but again, I was talking with Tracy about this earlier, and I'm like, do you remember watching that movie Glass Onion?
Glass Onion.
Yeah, the second of the Knives Out series. Daniel Craig is this southern sleuth.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's the worst southern accent since Forrest Gump. But you go all the way through the movie, and all of these people, it takes on the format of like an Agatha Christie kind of thing. Where all these people are gathered together, and eventually the sleuth has to explain, who the killer is. So all these people get invited out to this billionaire's island.
Oof. Sounds like shit.
Yeah, replete with all manner of excess, and the billionaire could be anybody. It could be Leon Scum. It could be Peter Thiel. Any of these
fucking sociopaths.
Yeah, all these. Masculine man of masculinity,
right.
Dude bros, and through the movie, the setup is there because, I'm one of these people that pays attention to language, so I hear misuses and things like that, malapropisms and whatnot. And by the end of the movie, I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it because it's been out several years.
Yeah, why not?
By the end of the movie, Daniel Craig looks at the billionaire and says, "Oh my goodness gracious. You're just a dumbass. You're stupid."
Mm-hmm.
And the next word that comes to mind, "You're a dipshit, ain't you?" And that's what we need to start saying
yes.
to the Leon Scums and the Peter
right.
Thiel. Why, well, bless my soul, you just a dumbass, ain't you?
Right. And they are.
And hammer them.
Right.
And of course, we always wind up talking about the media, Tara. And this is what we desperately need from the multimillionaire for-profit media.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say Trump is playing fast and loose with the facts.
Right.
Say this man is a lying dirtbag.
Yeah, that's right.
The truth isn't in him, and he's ignorant. He's stupid. He is probably not okay in the brains.
Yep. That's right. And
but we're not going to do that. Mark Zuckerdweeb is going to
I know.
bow the knee and suck the orange toe.
Right. And it's embarrassing. Isn't he embarrassed? And that's the other thing.
You can't. That's the thing. Apparently, you can't embarrass a billionaire,
right? Because
there's somebody else who's impressed by the billions, and they go, "Oh no, you're a genius."
But
yeah,
what
I'm
the
a genius.
fuck? It's like he's like, you have fuck you money, and you are worried about this fucking baboon. He's gonna pick on you. He's coming after you. It's like, if this piece of shit won't stand up to this baboon, I mean, what the hell do the rest of us? What chance do the rest of us have? I'm not a billionaire. Neither are you. Neither are the listeners. We don't have billionaire money coming in because we're the liberal media. It's fucking disgusting. But they have inserted the word retard back into their language. They think this is
Well, any
freedom.
word that they think they're not supposed to say that you don't
Yes.
say in polite company, they want to scream
Yeah.
from the rooftops.
Well, that's what it's all about. And I have
I mean,
said that.
that's what's behind calling
Yep.
women property on
Yep.
Facebook or calling trans people it.
Yep. And for years, I remember years ago, I said to somebody, this was during the Bush administration, I said, just with having a political nice conversation. I said, well, really, Republicans they don't think they're free unless they can say the N-word. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And the person I was talking to was
and what is the whole what is the whole the bullshit campaign over CRT and DEI and wokeness,
Right.
except one great big maggot boo-hoo over not
Right.
being able to say the word that has all the same letters as ginger.
That's it. It's true. But my friend, when I said that to her, she's like, "Oh, come on!" Like it's as if they can't stretch their imagination. It's not even about a stretch of imagination. It's right in front of them. As if you know what it is. It's you can't because people, you project your own set of values. You just assume that other people share them. And that's really not the case with Republicans. That's why they call people retards and they act like assholes and they're always like they're out to get us and this is a witch hunt and all this good. Like this is because they act like that. They're the ones who are using the weaponizing government and they're the ones who need who are corrupt basically and not just basically through and through. So it's all projection and the thing the whole thing everywhere is we have so many problems because of this fucking media. And I know it's like that's my big bugaboo, but it really is because Elon Musk is a dirtbag. He's a piece of shit. But the media enables him, and Mehdi Hassan is 100% correct. I didn't hear a peep out of anybody on the corporate media, didn't mention it at all. But how many days, and we're still enduring, when Hillary Clinton said these fuckers were deplorable, right? She was talking about Islamophobes, homophobes, transphobes, all the assholes, Nazis. And we still don't hear the end of that. But, this asshole can walk around the halls of Congress, take meetings on demand with these pricks, take meetings with ambassadors. He's on the phone with Putin. And then he comes up, they come up with this fake-ass government agency, Doge, which is not an agency, of course. It's not a cabinet position. It has to be created, but it doesn't matter, different rules. And the media says fucking nothing. It says boo about it. And they're the problem, really, because not only do they not say anything about this abhorrent behavior, because they are complicit in their silence, they enable it, but they don't point out the fact that this is not normal. Billionaires shouldn't be on the phone with ambassadors. That they have it's not even about not having any shame anymore. I mean, the corruption is simply right out in the open. And the media is busy lulling the country into a sense of security. Like, this is normal. This is the way it operates.
Sane washing.
Yes. And it's not. It's a 5-alarm fire. And it hasn't even begun yet. I don't mean to use the fire, I guess, with the fires happening. But, it's an emergency where we are, and what's happening is the body politic is dying. The house is on fire. Whatever metaphor, they are burning the grand experiment in liberal democracy to the ground. This is not why the founders fought a revolution. So a fucking billionaire can play with the entire world, like, we're nothing but pawns on his whatever. Not I don't know, his checkerboard, more like chessboard. And the other thing, the media, speaking of checkers over chess, is that he's not a genius. You know, what genius
No.
says things like that?
Are any of them?
Right, but the
Yeah,
media
we have this
constantly.
obsession in the United
Yes.
States that great wealth
Yes,
is an
that's
indicator
it.
of great intelligence.
That's right.
Actually, it's probably inversely proportional.
Absolutely. I mean, you're singing my song because it's such a disgrace. It's such an embarrassment. Just because you figured out, like Mark Zuckerberg, so he
It should be
stole.
embarrassing to want to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
It should be on the DSM fucking 5
Exactly.
on one of the axes there.
Because
okay?
why the fuck do you need $1 billion? And it should also be on the on the DSM 5 or whatever, our Stockholm syndrome concerning it, that we look at, not me. I mean that we that society.
How can you live with yourself, Tara?
I don't know.
Getting
What
up
do you
at, I don't mean you.
I try. I got 4 cats and a guinea pig. It helps.
But how can one of these billionaires get up every morning and look at themselves in the mirror
I know.
and say, I have enough money to end homelessness
Right.
in the entire United States,
Right.
and I'm not doing it.
Exactly.
Wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, I have enough money to make sure there is not one hungry human
Yep.
being in the United States,
It's
and
so
not
true.
do anything about it.
Yep, it's true. And the media.
And of course, any lowing and grunting about professing Christianity is dead on arrival
right.
with these
Yep.
assholes
Yep.
because of the fact that they are the rich man who was told, give away everything to the poor and follow me.
Oh yeah.
And
Whoa.
if you know your Bible, you know that the verse immediately after that, all it says is, and the rich man was sad and went away.
He got the sads, like Musk.
The
F
brown-skinned
you,
Palestinian
retard.
day laborer and semi-literate itinerant rabbi who wore a dress every day of their life gave them a sad.
Yes. And he said, F you, retards. I'm out of here. I mean, it's like, but the thing is, I can't tell you, I'm sure you've seen it yourself, on Morning Joe, on whatever these shows.
Oh, Jesus.
Every time they start a conversation about this man-child Musk asshole, somebody has to bring up, it's usually Willie Geist or, who's the one with the 2 colored eyes? What's his name? The guy who's the CNBC guy? His eyes are different colors. One is brown, the other's blue. You know what I'm talking about. Andrew Ross Sorkin.
Andrew Ross Sorkin, yeah.
They always have to say, well, he's a genius. Why doesn't he focus on he's best at?
I don't ever want to hear Elon Musk is a genius.
He's not
without
a genius.
seeing the results of an independent and even an IQ test.
Exactly.
I want to see the IQ results.
Right. He's not a genius. No genius who says F you, retard, to anybody. I mean, like, and first of all, second and third of all, no genius. Who the hell is a genius that would hang out with fucking Donald Trump? If you're a genius, you would be so bored with that goddamn dullard. He's like he's the most boring, whiny, ignorant bitch, waste of human DNA going. And you're a genius, and that's your pal. You're just palling around with with this low IQ asshole.
And how sad is it that we're having to rely on heads of state from Europe and the EU, who actually take seriously, at least to one degree or another, their obligation to their constituencies, to actually act in their best interest. To call out dipshit dirtbags like Leon Scum.
Yeah, right. And
the Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez. I'm doing Spanish in Duolingo, so I'm working on my pronunciation. It's really bad right now with my head being the way it is. Mm-hmm. But today, the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said that Musk, quote, openly attacks our institutions and stirs up hatred.
Yep.
What's more important, however, is that the speech came at the beginning of, I mean, I really respect this, Tara. The speech came at the beginning of official commemorations of the 50th anniversary of the death of Generalissimo Francisco Franco. I mean, I'm so old I can remember, Chevy Chase in the early days of Weekend Update saying, and Generalissimo Francisco Franco is still dead.
Right.
He was a nightmare, Franco was. Just a fascist horror. And it was documented by people by great American authors like John Dos Passos and to a certain extent, Hemingway and others. And he called Sanchez, Prime Minister Sanchez did. He called Leon Scum straight up an international reactionary who openly attacks our institutions, stirs up hatred, and openly calls for the support of the heirs of Nazism in Germany's upcoming elections.
Wow. Good.
All this is a problem, a challenge that should challenge all of us who believe in democracy.
Yep. And the whole world. See, this is what's so confusing to me is that there are more of us than there are of him. So how much longer are we going to take it? That's what I wonder. Because he's not, there's one asshole running around fucking Earth, like fucking shit up, putting his sickness on everything, trying to drag the Earth down to his depravity, his depraved level. That's what he's trying to do. And that's another thing, with Republicans, because they hate America, clearly, and that's why they have to drag it down. They have to, like, for example, when, and I talked about it on my last show, I'm sure you probably brought it up too, how Mike Johnson read a completely made up Thomas Jefferson prayer twice, first at that prayer meeting they had. And then,
and exactly who gave that to him.
Who?
David Barton. That
God.
shit had David Barton written all over.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's been something that he's routinely repeated, and it's what's so, of course, the media won't bring any of this shit up. Because that's the other thing. I watched that speech that Johnson gave, and I was like, this doesn't sound like Thomas Jefferson with 2 sentences in. And I'm not no fucking Thomas Jefferson scholar, but I know a little bit. And I was like, this is not Thomas Jefferson isn't like, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, for America, for giving us this great land of thy bounty. Like, that doesn't sound like him. And I looked it up, and numerous times the Monticello whatever it is, .org, the organization that is in charge of Thomas Jefferson's letters, right? They tell him routinely that this is not a prayer from Thomas Jefferson. Like, please stop saying.
Not exactly a praying man.
Yeah, and so stop spreading this fake prayer from Thomas Jefferson. And that the worst part of it is not just that he repeats it all the time, and he repeats many spurious quotes all the time, which is it's a case in point right there. It's an illustration of how Republicans do not like this country. I mean, why can't you find a quote that he actually said, or a prayer, or whatever, or some kind, or a passage from one of his writings, his extensive writings?
Because everything he said was the antithesis of what these fuckers want.
Exactly. So they just make it up. And they say, oh, Thomas Jefferson said that, it proves me right. Once again, they hate this fucking country. They hate it. They hate this country. They hate the nation of laws. They hate, I mean, as much as the nation of immigrants, the nation of laws. One of the charges against King George from the colonists, from the revolutionaries, was he was limiting immigration into the country, right? So, because they understood that this is a nation of immigrants. We need immigrants. We need You know, that's what we're
We
founding
need
this.
more people to steal the indigenous
Yes,
people's land.
exactly.
Goddammit. I mean, it's right there in the Declaration.
Exactly.
But if you don't mind, let me back up to a minute because back up for a minute because out of everything that Pedro Sanchez
Get
said
over
today,
here. Sorry, I'm
in
speaking
Madrid,
of backing up.
he was speaking, by the way, at the same art museum, the Reina Sofia, where Picasso's Guernica hangs, which is the most profound anti-Franco statement ever made in art. Sanchez and you know, when you frame this against, for instance, the feckless assholes who rightly called the Tangerine Tiberius a fascist before the election, but then turned around and sucked the orange toe afterward, looking at you, Joe Scarborough.
Right. Yep.
Well, now we have to rely on people from other corners of the globe instead of, you know, the free speech First Amendment wonderland that is the United States. Sanchez said plainly, autocratic regimes are advancing halfway around the world. The fascism we thought we had left behind is now the third political force in Europe.
Wow. Who said that?
Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister of Spain. And in Spain, Sanchez being a socialist, in Spain there will be 100 events in schools, universities, museums, and in the streets to showcase Spain's recovery from the filth that is fascism.
Good. They said, oh, good. See? Good. I like the way they put that.
Well, I mean, that's the way I put it.
Oh, I thought they were. I thought they wrote that like that.
You know, there's a cathedral in Spain, and it's the building is it's humongous, and Franco used slave labor from Republican prisoners and anti-fascists and killed them in the process to build it.
Wow.
And it is nominally a cross, but there's a huge cross, it's literally monumental, that sticks up out of this cathedral, but it's really a sword.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Franco built it to be buried there, and a couple of years ago they said, nope, we're digging him up.
Good. What'd they do with him?
They gave him over to the family and said, bury him where nobody knows.
They should. That's what should happen. He should not be. There shouldn't be a place for people to memorialize him and, you know, try to like.
And finally,
like Mussolini or something, right? Oh, doesn't Mussolini, now that I'm saying this,
yeah, his granddaughter's in the Italian parliament.
Yes, but he have a grave now that I'm saying this, isn't he buried somewhere and they all go and visited all the fascists?
No,
make a pilgrimage to it. I have to look this up. I thought I saw this, but go ahead.
But
continue.
Sanchez wrapped up and said, because I just think this is an important story.
Mm-hmm.
He wrapped up and said, you don't have to be of a particular ideology, left, center, or right, to look with sadness, with great sadness, and also with terror at the dark years of Franco's regime and fear that this regression will be repeated. Forgetting the mistakes of the past is the first step towards repeating them again.
Right. Yep. And here we are. But I guess we've had very close calls with fascism. We've never really gotten there, but here we are.
Well, you'll get a kick out of this. The opposition party in Spain is called the Popular Party. Mm-hmm. It's referred to simply as the PP, which is
that's funny.
Entirely apropos. They grunted back because neither King Felipe VI nor the leader of the PP, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, attended, and he said, Sanchez with Franco, Feijóo with the people of Valencia. It tasks me. Sorry, fell in obligatory Star Trek reference from the Wrath of Khan. Can't help it. I mean, and we haven't even gotten to the domestic stuff today, because there is some there's important stuff out there, and I do want to take a moment to mention that, we got 96 hours worth of propane today, and I'm terribly grateful to the Horn Family Community Congregation for helping to make that happen. Now I've got to deal with a $500 bill.
For what?
It never stops. Well, in this case, the telephony.
Oh.
Well, it's not quite 500. Close enough. You can see it from there.
I thought you meant for propane or.
No. So the fundraising goal right now is at $780, and if we could bring that down by a couple of $100 in the next 45 minutes or so, that would be really helpful, because we're a goose egg right now. And I'm sorry I have to mention fundraising when we're simulcasting, but there's no way around it. So they're riding my ass.
No, please.
Because
that's what we're here.
We can't.
We need support.
Neither you nor I can do this program on love, determination, and dedication.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to have all those things, but corporate America deals in cash.
Right. And we don't have billionaire benefactors or Kremlin benefactors like like the right-wing influencers do, and Mark Zuckerberg too. He was receiving money, and he was receiving rubles, right, for his role in spreading disinformation.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure
pig.
I'm sure
No
Putin just simply adores him.
Yeah, well, that was part of the whole, when he was mea culpa before he went maggot, and he was like, "Oh, we have to do better," because it was reported that how did you not know?
Well, it's like that. It's like that cartoon that that Jeff Bezos spiked at the Washington Post.
Oh God, yeah. These fragile little billionaires, right?
When I first saw it, because the only thing that's inked in terms of color is Mickey Mouse, and Mickey Mouse is laying flat at the plinth of the of the pedestal upon which Orange Jesus stands. And when I first saw it, I thought, "Oh my God, Mickey is dead." And then it took me a minute, and I took into account the artist's intent, and I realized, no, this is a representation of the $15 million that ABC gave to Nitwit Nero to settle a suit that was frivolous and was going to be thrown out in the first place. So instead of being dead at the foot of the pedestal, Mickey Mouse is actually lying prostrate in worship.
I see.
So
we have it up on the screen for people to see if they haven't seen
we
it.
had intervention today, and this is damn near unprecedented in the history of the Supreme Court of the United States. We had intervention in the New York prosecution over the hush money election interference case, because Venereal Vespasian ran off to the Supreme Court. Right. Demanding
what a baby
that the Supreme Court stop his sentencing on Friday before Judge Juan Merchan.
Well, there's a president-elect immunity, too.
So, showing up today, the Supreme Court this morning immediately responded to their daddy's plea and told Alvin Bragg to reply to Nitwit Nero's motion by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, Thursday, the 9th of January. The sentencing is scheduled for the 10th.
Yes.
Over at ABC News, Peter Charalambous said, Trump's lawyers have asked the country's highest court for an unprecedented intervention in the ongoing criminal case of a former president
fucking tedious.
whose appointment of 3 justices cemented the court's conservative majority that would effectively toss his criminal conviction less than 2 weeks ahead of his inauguration. So here we are.
Right. I'm just
He
so
can't,
sick of it.
He cannot be pardoned. He cannot pardon himself. So now he's looking to the Supreme Court of the United States for a de facto pardon based on a bullshit theory that something that he did before he even entered the Oval Office should be deemed immune because he talked about it once he was in the Oval Office.
Right, he committed the crime. Well, he
that shit would get a first semester 1L student bounced out of school.
But it also not fly as a defense for anyone else in the country. Are you kidding me? It's sickening. I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of him, this slimy dirtbag, slithering away and failing upwards. His entire life, this dirtbag. This grimy, greedy, little, slimy...
worm.
A con man, a grifter. Someone who is a moron. Did you hear his filthy... I mean, I'm sure you saw that, or some of it, the press conference he gave, and the nonsense that came out of his mouth. That, of course, if Joe Biden said anything near what he talked about water not coming out fast enough, and we got water, we got a lot of water. Some people have so much water they don't know what to do with the water. What the fuck are you talking about, you fucking dotard? What are you talking about? And why, if Joe Biden said anything like that, they would eviscerate him. It would never stop on the corporate media. That's why I'm sick of it. And we're in this boat because of disinformation and the message, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse because of these pricks, these sociopaths who don't have enough. They don't have enough money. And what is he talking? Like Zuckerberg was saying how, we got it wrong. We, fact checking. It's like saying, now you can yell fire in a crowded theater and the community will be like, is there a fire? No, there's no fire. I believe in fire. Does fire even exist? This one says no. That one's, it's like there's no standards here, and we're going to do everything by committee. And nobody, who the fuck is at my door? And nobody,
it's the person from Porlock about your tailoring bill.
Yeah, something. I don't know what. It's like 7. What are you knocking on my door for? I'm not answering it. It's probably just a delivery. But anyway, leave it out. Leave it downstairs. But you know what I'm saying? The community notes. Give me a break here. And they're saying how how he has to move the whatever's left of this fact-checking team to Texas, because there was political bias. And what gets me crazy, okay, and this is why I'm pointing it out, because you won't hear it on the corporate media. Will they ever point it out? What was biased? If it's such a problem, there must be examples of where people were fact-checked or things were fact-checked and they had a political bias to it. Let's see these unfairly taken down posts, right? That were taken down because of political bias. Let's see it. They don't have one fucking example of this because it doesn't exist, What they wanted, what they're talking about is spreading COVID disinformation. That's what they wanted to do. And of course, anti-trans stuff, hate speech. Also, the Hunter Biden laptop bullshit. That's it. Because where's the political bias? They always talk about that too, and there's never an example. And the Republicans, same thing. They'll say, "Oh, Democrats lie. There's so many lies coming out of the Democrat." Give me a lie. How come you don't have an example of this? There's never.
Why are all the witnesses against him all fucking Republicans?
Right. who saw him in action, and they were horrified. Anyone with a semblance of a spine or a semblance of a soul and a brain who saw this moron in action. What does his chief of staff say? His longest running or serving chief of staff said, Traitor Trump has a fundamental disdain for American values. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty damning assessment of your boss, who's supposed to faithfully execute the laws of the United States. And you know, when he takes the oath of office, what the hell? You know, he's a traitor. He does it, oath schmoth. Faithfully execute the laws of the Constitution, or protect and defend. You know, I mean, it's like, wipe your ass. May as well. And then he's going to pardon all of these traitors, who some are in jail right now for seditious conspiracy. Shame on them. Shame on this entire system that let us down, that brought us to this point, including Merrick Garland, including the corporate media, who never point out when Trump was shoving all these unqualified judges onto the bench. The only qualifications were loyalty, like Aileen Cannon and these others that are. I have clips of one guy. It's the most disgraceful, you know, because the Republicans can act like they can act unhinged. You know, I don't know if you've seen that clip of one of the Republicans being interviewed for a judgeship, a lifetime position on the bench, and he broke down in tears because people wrote saying, no, he's not qualified. He's a racist. He's a horror to work with and for. He's a bully. You know, he's everything that Republicans are. And it was Josh Hawley interviewing him and asked him, well, what do you say about these allegations? And he just started crying and bawling like a baby. And, you know, it's like, that doesn't mean it's not true. He's like, oh, this is terrible. I'm not a racist. You know, but everybody says you are. But
oh, sure. And it's funny how everything has a George W. Bush antecedent.
What do you mean?
Well, crying, I'm a racist. George W. Bush wrote his autobiography. Do you remember? And he said, the most upsetting time of my life was that time when Kanye West said I didn't like black people.
Right.
Now and watch this crowd.
Right. And then he said, when anyone calls me a racist, I just point to Condi Rice and Colin Powell on my cabinet. You know, I got some black friends, so not even realizing how that sounds. But yeah, it's like
that's become one of my theses, Tara, is that you cannot have maggot world without having loyal Bushy world.
Yeah, it's all connected. The decline of this country. Well, it's all connected. You know, we had George W. Bush, who it was a, you know, what did Mike call him? So many names now. Just what was he say? What did Mike used to call him? It's escaping me now. You know, I mean, he was a dumbass, but that was not it. It was something. Whatever, it'll come to me in a minute when I'm not thinking about it. But yeah, he was dumb. He was just like the rest of them, ill-informed, malinformed, ignorant of history, had no intellectual curiosity. These people, mean. That's another thing. You know, fake-ass Christian. And I always remember when someone came to, because when he was when he was the governor of Georgia, and they were going to execute Carla Tucker, and Carla, who had killed her spouse or something, or her husband, boyfriend, whatever. And they came to, and she had turned her life. She became a Christian. She became a minister. She was helping all her fellow prisoners. And she was trying to get her death sentence overturned and commuted to life. so she can continue being a good Christian and help. And so many people came, and even the warden of the prison was advocating for her, saying, yeah, she's really an asset to the community here. And what did George W. Bush do? The great he giggled and don't kill me. He made fun of her, saying,
yeah, she don't kill me.
right, like that's
flip the switch.
yeah, like mocking her, begging for her life. Not that whatever, Carla Tucker. I'm not, it is what it is. But come on, it's so needlessly cruel, and it speaks of a level of indecency and immaturity that has no business having power. They can't handle power. They're not decent people, which is it's so heartbreaking to compare these people when you see Jimmy Carter, of course, who they eviscerated. My entire life, I was a kid when Jimmy Carter was in the presidency, but I remember after, as I became more politically aware.
I so desperately wanted to vote for him in 1980, but I was a year too young.
Yeah, I was a kid. I remember the oil embargo. I remember being in my father's car while we were waiting for gas on a long line. I remember when the helicopters went there. They tried to rescue the hostages, and they didn't succeed. I remember that. But I also remember later on how, of course, now when I found out about what Reagan had done, because he committed treason, of course, negotiating with the enemies of America behind the back of the sitting president. So encouraging them to keep the hostages, to keep our fellow Americans in bondage, so it would be good for his political campaign.
I mean, just about everything you can talk about that's gone wrong with America can be traced back to Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, Nixon
stopped. It's true. Yes.
But we stopped that shit.
Yeah, and Ronald Reagan, and I would say Ford pardoning Nixon. That's another one. That was a betrayal of everyone's above. I mean, no one is above the law. That notion. And at the time, I wasn't. I mean, when was that? Was I alive at the time? I was probably too. When did that happen? I was too small. I don't remember that happening. Or what year was that when Ford pardoned Nixon? I'm looking at
75.
Oh, okay. I was alive, but I wasn't. I was little. So I don't remember that. But I saw someone recently was talking about it, saying how it was not something that that the American people were pining for. In fact, they were quite outraged at the time, universally. And they said that they were at some, I think it was one of these, it was a contributor that was on MSNBC. I saw them in an interview. They was at like a basketball game or something when it came over the news ticker that Ford had pardoned Nixon, and the entire arena erupted in boos. So, and that's just one anecdotal story, but most people were horrified. They weren't like, oh, let's just put the past behind us and heal. They knew what he was doing was slimy. But this is where we are. It's the same thing with Bush versus Gore. When the Supreme Court installed George Bush into the office that he didn't win, the whole country should have shut down at the time. But as we see, we learn, just like the Germans did, that they learn to be governed by surprise and just go about their business. And most people, that's what they want to do. They just keep their heads down. And this is how democracies fail. And it fails because of the message. Because remember, I mean, I don't think it'll be like what happened in the Soviet Union, where the Soviet Union was falling and you turn on the television and nothing would be there. But what was it? Ballet they would play, right? It was just
Right, yeah.
right. But I don't think it'll be like that. But what we have is kind of close to it. Of course, we have the distractions, but this social media disinformation machine is a big problem that has to be dealt with, and it's going to. This is what's so scary, because it's not going to happen in the next 4 years. It's only going to get worse. And the way I feel, it's like every time I turn around, the news gets worse. We get something more disturbing, like Zuckerberg. Yeah, it's bad enough. Oh, they're meeting with him. George. What's his name? Jeff Bezos killing another, like we were saying, the cartoon, and no one in the mainstream media pointing out how this is how horrified we should all be. And then when you go on Twitter, or Facebook, when he released that announcement, Zuckerberg. I was looking at the comments now, but the thing is, you can't tell anymore. Are these real people, or are they bots? Are they fake accounts? Are they Russian accounts? Because Russian disinformation is rampant on Twitter and on social media now. But if you even go on Twitter and the Zuckerberg announcement. There are maggots. They're like, congratulations, welcome, welcome to maggot, good on you, good job. This is how thoroughly propagandized they are. And of course, it's not about, free speech absolutists. They're so full of shit, as we saw immediately. When they have no shame, they don't worry about.
And free speech absolutist is such a bullshit term anyway.
Of course.
I do need to interrupt just for a minute, because we got about 20 minutes left in the program. Our kind anonymous internet friend has offered up a $50 1-for-1 doubling challenge. And so if somebody kicks in $50, we'll have 100. And then Ralph said, until it's met, I'll offer a $25 ruble challenge. So we've got $75 in challenges on the table. If those are met, they could knock down $150 out of the current fundraising deficit of $780. And that would be, that gets us closer to keeping the stress line on for tomorrow. So thanks in advance to anybody who does respond. Excuse me. Hiccups now. Great. What's next? Frogs and locusts?
See, we're all devolved now. Stupid. Right? That's how we all talk to each other now, like schoolyard bullies.
And this is kind of important because Billable Rick has reported in SoCal fires. Roxanne, I'm doing fine with the SoCal fires, knock on wood, joining you in that. The Eaton fire is about 7 miles southeast of me and is moving in a southwesterly direction due to the prevailing Santa Ana winds from the northeast. Thus, my place in the Crescenta Highlands is considerably north of where the Eaton fire is expected to spread. I've been watching NBC4 in the background of my office computer all day long, keeping an eye on developments involving the Eaton fire. So far, so good, at least for my neighborhood. It's been a crazy, scary windstorm. When I arrived at my house last night around midnight from my Laguna Beach apartment, which my girlfriend and I recently rented, which has a 180-degree view of the ocean from the second floor, the power was still on. But the power was shut off about 30 minutes later per a public safety power shutdown, just after I'd poured a glass of red wine and placed it on the floor, which I knocked over and broke in the pitch dark. My plan to watch a late-night movie or TV show on my laptop was scotched by the power shutdown since I had no wireless reception. Then went to bed around 1:30 a.m. while 80-mile-an-hour winds howled outside my bedroom. I can't imagine. I mean, I've been in tornadoes. I've been in hurricanes. I know what those winds are like. And one of the things about a hurricane is that the winds just go on and on and on, and that's what these winds are like. And after a while, they'll make you kind of not okay. Rick continues and says, I awoke to an evacuation warning alert for my area on my cell phone about 6 a.m. That alert instructed residents to gather their belongings, supplies, and pets and to prepare to evacuate on short notice if necessary. I took a quick shower since the water in the hot water heater was still warm. However, in the dim pre-dawn light of the shower, I accidentally squirted some Dove body wash in my right eye, which was excruciatingly painful and caused me to delay placing contacts in my eyes for the next 2+ hours. While having my cold coffee, it was in the refrigerator, and eating my cereal, I learned more about the expanding Eaton fire, which I'd learned about the previous night from my real estate agent. I'm finally selling my house after living in the Cressida Highlands for most of the last 35 years. As the sun was rising, I opened my back porch door and glanced down on the billowing smoke clouds from the Eaton fire on the horizon to the east-southeast of me. I then started planning on what items I should pack in my SUV in case the evacuation warning turned into an evacuation order. When I opened my front door, however, I noticed that the walkway leading to my SUV in the driveway was completely blocked by two 15-foot-long branches from the top of the largest of 3 star Norfolk pine trees growing 6 feet from my house. Since I couldn't walk to the SUV, my task changed from packing the vehicle to clearing the tree brush. So I grabbed the handsaw from the side of my house and proceeded to lumber for the next hour or so, cutting branchlets from the larger branches so that I could carry the branches up the driveway without scraping the side of the SUV. Miraculously, the tree branches didn't strike either the roof or the side of my house or the SUV, which were only a few feet away from the fallen tree branches. After completing clearing the pine branches from the front walkway, it was too late to pack any of my belongings in the SUV, so I decided to head off to work. On the way to work, I drove east on the 210 freeway toward the Eaton fire area. As I approached the fire, the smoke clouds grew increasingly thick. The sky was obscured by wood smoke, and the rising sun was an orange ball reminiscent of a foggy sunset, barely bright enough to shine through the obscuring smoke. The closer I got to the Eaton fire, the more it resembled a scene from Dante's Inferno, a clearly terrifying spectacle. Despite driving 60 to 65 miles an hour in my vehicle, I managed to take some amazing pictures as I headed east, never been any reason. Song reference. Mm-hmm. I posted a few of those photos on a considerably truncated Facebook post. Ironically, the traffic on the 210 as I approached and proceeded through the Eaton fire was flowing smoothly, but backed up only after I'd gotten through the worst of the fire clouds and smoke. Go figure. Such inexplicable traffic is typically L.A. For the next 2 days, I expect to have no power. However, I'll head back to the house to get ready for an early morning teeth cleaning in the area on Thursday, and to check on our 3 cats, Teddy Bear, Christy, and Tiger. If necessary, we'll evacuate them to the Laguna Beach apartment, where they'll eventually live on the lower porch where they're in the catio that I just ordered.
That's nice.
Catio.
Yes.
I'm loving that.
I love that.
Because I'll have no power at the house, I'll probably spend the evening at a local bar south of the Highlands where I'll play pool and have drinks instead of passing the evening in a dark, cool house. I'll be sure to keep y'all posted on new developments with the fire situation in my neighborhood. Happy New Year, Horndonistas, signed Billable Rick. P.S. I learned from my boss, Joe, that both his aunt and best friends lost their homes in the Altadena Highlands in the Eaton fire. Joe told me that he just enjoyed a Thanksgiving dinner with him and his family at his aunt's house this past year. But it's now gone. Joe also reports that his best friend was forcibly evacuated from his home due to the fire and then secretly snuck back to his home to hose down his roof and house to prevent the spread of the fire because no firefighters were on the scene to prevent the blaze from spreading. However, when Joe's friend went to turn on his hose, no water came out of the hose. I agree with Tracy that this lack of water pressure to fight the SoCal blazes needs to be studied, and the responsible persons must be held accountable. God, what a perfect, no pun intended, storm of fuckery. I mean, God, I can't imagine the horror.
Yeah, I'm really.
And see, the sad thing is,
this.
capitalism being capitalism, Tara. The developers are just licking their fucking chops, because, whatever insurance pays for, people will be ready to get away. A lot of people will quit and say, I'm not going to do this again. and then they'll sell out, and the developers will come along, build another house right there facing the same potential problems. This ain't no 1 in 500 years event.
Right.
These are yearly now.
Right. Well,
they'll make a goddamn killing on them. They'll burn down eventually. The developers will come back in, rebuild, lather, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
Reference to Dove body wash notwithstanding.
Right. Well, what did Trump say about the wildfires? He's blaming Democrats, of course, and he and Musk criticized Democrats, saying that they haven't managed the forest. That's why. And it's not climate change. It's the mismanagement of Democrats. Because this is what we're looking forward to. If you remember, I'm sure, I tried to forget that during the Trump administration, it's, red states were the pinnacle of governance, who could do no wrong, and blue states were, just constantly kicked around, and he played politics with everything, and that's what we have to look forward to. There's no unity, right? Remember, even with COVID, if you take out the blue states, there's hardly ever any death, because it was happening in the blue states first. But this is, what we have. He's not even the president yet, but he's already using this as not an opportunity to address the very real crises we face as a country, as a community, but to once again kick Democrats, divide people, bash Democrats. It's not climate change. It's the Democrats who did it. It's their incompetence. They didn't rake the forests or something, or vacuum the forests. What did he say to do?
Rake the forest like they do in Finland.
Mm-hmm. Like he fucking knows, this idiot. But yeah, he says that it's the Democrats. They mismanage the water and fire protection. Unbelievable. And of course there's no money in FEMA. Right. And I've been and this is what Joe Biden left me. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now just to catch up with a little bit of stupid, with Nitwit Nero having declared that he wants to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Oh God, who cares? Who fucking cares?
Texas Governor Greg Abbott wheelied onto the scene. And declared, no, we're going to change it to the Gulf of Texas.
Oh, God. Go away, you posers. Because that's all they got. Where's the cost of living legislation? I thought they were so concerned about the cost of living that old ladies can't afford a fucking apple.
What happened to the fucking egg prices, y'all?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you would think they'd come right out of the gate with all of these great ideas that they have to address America's cost of living. That apparently maggots who had enough money to buy Trump bucks, but they couldn't buy eggs. It was like a hellscape out here. And I saw Perjury Trader Green, too. She was on some maggot show talking about how she's already introduced legislation, or whatever. She
it's going to be introduced tomorrow.
Right, about the Gulf of America.
Oh my God, I'm doing
cares?
a Vivian Lee Scarlett O'Hara impression to a woman named Tara, for God's sake.
But that's fine. And it's like, no, was that what we voted for? Not that I voted for it. But people didn't. Who cares? It's just more of a distraction. Yeah, in between bashing Democrats, we're going to get this performance art, and that's who that's who Republicans are. They have no answers for anything. They take credit for the successes of Democrats, which Democrats, why not take credit? Because certainly Democrats aren't taking credit for their own successes. So what the fuck? It's just laying right there on the floor. Pick it up and run with it, Republicans, right? And but they will continue to do all kinds of performance art bullshit like this. Gulf of America. Who cares? Gulf of Texas. Nobody cares. And then we're going to invade Greenland and Panama and all this. You know, the peace president. Everyone was a warmonger, and Trader Trump was going to bring us peace in the world by invading Greenland. And now they're all like good little maggot sycophants falling in line saying what a great idea. You know, we really need to.
And,
they're
and,
all
and
on Fox News.
at the bottom line of this, Tara, and this because this is all stupid. This is all him throwing a fit because it's the Gulf of Mexico and he doesn't like Mexicans and
Yep.
and you know, undocumented immigrants are bringing crime
Right.
and fentanyl over
Right.
the southern border.
Right. And it's, who cares? It is nothing. It doesn't do anything for anybody. It doesn't make Medicaid negotiate drug price. It doesn't reduce the price of your health care, or doesn't let you buy cheaper eggs. Or I always wonder, that's the other thing, you know, this effing maggot Trader Trump talks about this old lady who, like the welfare queen nobody can find, the one who can't buy an apple. And there's the corporate media, or the crack corporate media, that why don't they try to ask him, where's this lady? You know,
where is she?
right, like
tell
this
us
poor
about her.
lady who
Yeah.
can't buy an apple, and none of these billionaires will break out 49 cents for the fucking lady. You know, like how disgraceful is that?
And just to by the by, and thank you, Tara.
Well, it's
and
not
thank you to-
well, JD sent a PayPal and said,
thank you, JD.
make sure to.
And thank you to thank you as well to Mark. That was huge, Mark. That's more than I have a show on me. I have a show and a third on me. Thank you.
Nice.
Bill gonna get paid, so
Good.
that's so important.
Nice.
Thanks as well to Frank. Thank you also so very kindly, and thanks for the challenges to Ralph's and our kind anonymous friend. I look at this stuff each and every day, and you know, I try to provide a palliative, Tara, by saying however weird yesterday was, today was going to be weirder, and however weird today is, tomorrow's going to be weirder still.
Yeah.
And it's all true, but it wears on me. So today, with the longest lived former president in the history of this country lying in state in the Capitol Rotunda in D.C., the Capitol Police stopped a guy trying to get into the Capitol Visitors Center who was, wait for it, carrying a machete.
Really? What was he planning on doing with it?
I don't know. During security screening at the CVC's north doors, our officers spotted a machete in the man's bag, stopped the x-ray machine, arrested the man, and secured the machete. 3 knives were also found in the bag, along with the
Wow.
machete.
That's
Security
crazy.
screening was temporarily stopped at the north side of the Capitol Visitor Center while we investigated. He was charged with carrying a dangerous weapon. They've not
Wow.
released his identity.
Why
but-
not?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing that's not a Kamala voter.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, am I just out there for saying that?
No.
That's a maggot, y'all.
Yeah, and I wonder what he
And
had in mind.
I don't want to hear about. Oh, obviously he was mentally ill.
Well,
Poor
they don't
Chet.
care about mental illness anyway. They
Well,
block.
I mean, you know, if that's going to be the benchmark standard, let's redo the election and take out all the crazies, and then we'll get President Harris.
Right. Right.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not. And they're vile. I don't know. I mean,
I mean, the pile on of the ironies. We're going to be celebrating the official celebration day of Dr. King's birthday.
Oh yeah.
Is going to be on the day of the inauguration.
I know. That's what I'll be celebrating, but I won't be. I can't watch the speech.
And I don't know what I honestly I don't know what kind of shape I'm going to be in for that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going.
I can't. I'm not
I'll
going to be
be
able
on
to.
air. I'm always on air. I try not to miss. I mean, I've been
You're
sick for
gonna-
the last 3 days, and
Wait
I'm
a
still
minute.
behind the microphones.
Wait. But you're not gonna be on air when he gives the speech.
No, but I'll be on this in the evening, and I think we'll probably have to do a front porch, or you and me get together or something.
Right.
Just because I don't want to
We
do
can.
that by
well,
myself.
we'll get together and we'll get through it together. That's how we're gonna have to get through the next 4 effing goddamn years
Well,
of
I think
shit.
I think that's more healthy than my fallback plan.
Which is
Ether.
no. What do you mean, ether? Ether. What's
Hunter
ether?
S. Thompson.
Oh. No.
I hate to recommend hard drugs and alcohol
No,
for anyone, but
I
they've
can't.
always worked for me.
I tried drugs. They don't work.
Yeah, didn't do it. Nope.
It didn't work. Yeah. If
Just
it worked, I'd still be
embarrassing.
doing it. Really.
Yeah.
So.
And I need to share an email here because I got on the wrong side of someone who's very, very dear to me.
Uh-oh.
And it's just a disagreement that we have, and I love my
Okay.
sister Micah with all my heart. And Micah wrote because I said something about Sarah McBride earlier.
Uh-oh. What'd you say?
Because what I said at the beginning of the program is that Mullah Moses Mike Johnson actually put his bathroom ban into effect on the House
He
side.
did?
Yeah,
I thought
he did.
it didn't go in. Oh wow.
It wasn't in the rules package. It was never meant to be in the rules package. It didn't have to be in the rules package. The rules package is how the House operates.
Oh fuck.
This is just house and grounds,
Oh,
facilities
God.
management.
What a piece of shit.
So at the stroke of a pen, he declared that all trans people are not women, all trans women are not women, all trans men are not men,
So what do they have to go into?
and are banned from using the correct restroom.
Unbelievable.
Uh,
Fucking
and
bastards.
with enforcement by the sergeant at arms
What?
of the House.
So putting the Capitol Police, the Sergeant at Arms, in this position to be the goddamn Gestapo when somebody goes to the bathroom.
I don't want to be gross or anything, but the genital police.
Yeah. So.
And
just
frankly,
go to the bathroom.
frankly, the idea, because I'm not one of those essentialists. I was once a woman of transgender experience who was pre-op. The fact that I'm not anymore does not convey any special status to me. I was
True.
a woman then, I'm a woman now.
Yeah. Exactly. It was
my-
you were a woman when
my-
we
my
called you
blood-
Bob. You know.
Yeah, right. Since about age 5, when I asked to go to, and that was what I said. I want to go to ballet with the other girls.
Mm-hmm.
I got a football helmet and a football the next day.
Wow.
And learned never to ask that question again. The only other time I piped up was wanting an easy bake oven, and you don't ask that one twice either.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just part of the experience. But the fact of the matter is, nobody has any business asking anybody about anybody's genitals when they're just trying to pee.
Right, you just go into the bathroom. Hold on, I gotta pee. And you gotta fucking turn it into a federal case.
I've got this beautiful little vision in my head of sitting in one of those stalls in one of the ladies' rooms in the Capitol, and having marginal trailer queen trying to peep through the gap between the stall door and the stall wall, and just kind of click and as hard as I can and bash her fucking brains in.
I know.
With the stall door.
Yeah.
Goddamn pervert.
Let them,
So, I'm not a huge fan, and I know people disagree with me, and it's okay. I'm not a huge fan of how Sarah McBride, America's first trans woman in Congress, has handled any of this.
She's just she's just rolling over for it, right?
I mean, that's my position, but I want to give Micah her voice. And Micah said, I said I shut off your program today, and I did. I may put it back on later, or if not, I'll listen to the podcast tomorrow while I bang my head on the desk at work. I've already been having a rough day, and I just couldn't stand listening to you go after one of our sisters. I do want to leave a more coherent comment on it, though, and we both know how I get when I'm passionate about something on the phone, so I figured I'd go ahead with a letter instead. Here's the thing. Yes, she messed up. She's a freshman representative who had been representative-elect for about a week when Nancy Mace started her crusade.
Right.
Honestly, fuck Nancy Mace. I'm here for fuck Nancy Mace. I definitely am, for putting her in that position in the first place.
True.
Still, I think it's messed up how much vitriol she's getting from the trans community and from you. I might be proven wrong, but she's not Caitlyn Jenner or Brianna Wu.
Right.
This doesn't yet seem like a pattern of behavior. And let's be real. What's happening to us as a community would be happening whether she made that statement or not. Sure, she shouldn't have done it, but it's done now. We have enough shit coming our way. I don't want to hear people bash her or make snippy comments about being okay with being called it for the rest of her term.
Fuck.
Well, I didn't say I'm okay with it. I said it's what's going to happen on Facebook.
Right.
Because it's now okay to call trans people it. And if you and if anybody thinks that the transphobes on Facebook aren't going to call Sarah McBride it,
of course they are. Of course they are.
I mean, they're already doing it. She's going to get more than enough of that from every transphobe on the planet.
It's so disgusting. These people are horrible.
And Micah says, I'd rather focus our energy on punching at the people who are making her worry about bathrooms when she could be focused on representing her constituents.
Exactly.
And Micah's right in these things. The fact is, she's there. A transgender woman is a member of Congress. I personally think we should make our feelings known and then focus on supporting her as best we can.
Right.
Like it or not, she's a very visible representative of our community now. Over the next 4 years, I'm not particularly interested in eating our own for every screw-up, real or imagined. I hope she succeeds. Love you so much. Sorry this makes me so angry. I love you so much, Micah, and I'm sorry you're angry. And I'm sorry we disagree on this issue. Because the thing is, at this point in time, she just reminds me of Rosa Parks being told to go to the back of the bus and saying, "You got it, boss."
True. Well, I see the points on both sides.
No, Micah makes excellent points, and we do have to punch at the people who are making her worry about bathrooms.
True. And
but let's remember how she came to fame. During the potty wars, the beginnings of the potty wars in 2016 in North Carolina, she found herself in North Carolina and posted a viral video of herself in a women's room in North Carolina saying, "I'm breaking the law. I'm doing something they say I can't do in North Carolina."
I see.
That's her origin story.
Okay.
And you know, I hope she's not.
What is she gonna do though? She's gonna.
Brianna Wu. I hope the fuck she's not a pick-me. But here's the thing. I said I wanted to give Micah her voice, and I mean that sincerely. The problem is, this is the crux of my disappointment. She had a voice. She had a voice. Yes, she had been an incoming representative-elect for all of a week when Nancy Mace attacked her. She had been a sitting member of the Delaware state legislature for years prior. You know, there's that old line, some are born to greatness and others have greatness thrust upon them. She didn't have greatness thrust upon her. She chose this, and she chose it knowing the climate she was running in. And I think that, you know,
true.
That calls for a certain amount of reality.
Well, what could she do though?
But for me, this is about voices. What she you know, again, she's got her own restroom. Granted, it's a half-hour walk away in the basement of the probably the Rayburn House office building. If she's really got to go, she's really in trouble. But she has that.
So she has her own bathroom? I'm just trying to get
in her office.
Oh,
every congressional office.
Everyone has one, of course. Yeah. Right.
But here's the thing.
Fucking.
I know for a fact from back, as I've told the story before, I remember walking. We were working on the ACAC, and I remember walking into a congressional office. I think it was in the Rayburn House office building, as a matter of fact. It was down It was down toward where Dennis Kucinich used to be. Wasn't Kucinich's office. But I opened the door and we were flyering for the AIC, and there was an absolutely, and by the way, there was a trans pride flag flying outside this congressional office. And there was just a breathtakingly beautiful young trans woman sitting at the reception desk doing the job of a receptionist.
That's nice.
Now, in that moment, I died a little bit inside.
Because you were in the closet.
Yeah. And I thought, that will never, ever, ever be me.
Wow.
But we spent a lot of time in those buildings, Tara. And we knew where, I mean, you just get to where you know the building. And there was a ladies' restroom and a men's restroom, probably not 50 feet down the hall. If that woman is still there, she can't use that restroom now.
Wow. Well, they should anyway.
And she had no voice with which to speak up for herself.
Right.
Rosa Parks, when Rosa Parks was trained at the Highlander School in East Tennessee, she didn't just decide she wasn't going to get up one day.
Right. Yes, that's true. Yeah, she was she prepped for it.
Yeah. Dr. King received training there too. And the role of the Highlander School should probably be celebrated with this upcoming this upcoming Dr. King holiday. It should always be celebrated. I've had trainings there. But that woman at that reception desk had no voice. Has no voice.
Right.
No one who is trans working in the Capitol has a voice. And it's in Sarah McBride's silence that my disappointment resides.
I see.
I don't despise her. I certainly don't think she's a Blair White or a Brianna Wu or a Caitlyn Jenner. Please, Jesus, don't let her be any of those things.
Woo! God help us.
At this point in time, honestly, Micah says let's support her. I do. I mean, I want her to succeed. If I was a betting woman, which I'm not, and I'm sad to say this, given the spotlight that's been put on her, and given the fact that I don't even know if Delaware has more than one district. Probably does. But given the spotlight that's been put on her, and given the unending sewer of dirty political money that the Republican Party can always leverage, Micah said, I don't want to be, what was it, for the next 4 years. Well, don't worry about it. I think we're going to have America's first transgender member of the House of Representatives, and 2 years later, we ain't gonna.
I don't know. Well, it depends. We'll see. One day at a time. We'll see.
I mean, look what they did. Who was the who was the guy from Brooklyn? They bounced his ass out by primary.
Oh, really? What was? I don't remember that one.
Yeah, the guy who pulled the alarm bell. I can't remember his name now.
Right. I remember.
And look what they did to Cori Bush in St. Louis.
True.
Because all Cori Bush did was say that, basically Palestinians are human beings, and AIPAC came after her with every goddamn dime they had.
Right.
Now you think then I've seen Sarah McBride accused of being pro-Israel or an AIPAC shill.
Well, that's it.
I read some of that shit with a very jaundiced eye. But if the Republican Party decides she's got to go, she's gone. On the other hand, if they decide to keep her around so they can use her as a whipping girl,
well, we have to see. She's not even in there yet. She's probably worried about.
No, she is in there now.
No, but I mean, it hasn't really begun yet, so it's just the beginning here. So it's like a very new gig. But I understand she was in government before, but I'm sure she wants to get some wins for her constituents, so she doesn't end up simply fighting about going to the bathroom, that will certainly turn the
Right,
maggot.
and let me add here, Tara, and we're a little bit over time, but I was late to the mic this evening anyway. Let me add that nothing is sweeter to a person of trans experience than to know that cis people are sincerely and unqualifiedly allies and have our backs, because there are so few of us. We're fucked without allies.
Of course, yeah.
And so AOC spoke up a little bit for Sarah, and Maxwell Frost earned a shitload of respect from me for speaking up. But you know who's real fucking quiet?
Who?
The
Nancy
entire
Pelosi?
rest of the Democratic House caucus.
Yeah, they should all stand together
Who
on this.
were probably the ones who were telling her, well, you know, get up, go to the back of the bus, honey, it's okay.
Right. Don't make waves.
Don't make
This
waves.
it's
Don't ruffle any feathers.
Too soon. Right? You got to go moderate, incremental. We got to go incremental on this. What they should all do is, when she has to go to the ladies' room, is the entire Democratic everybody get the fuck up and accompany her there and say, okay, you want to get her? You coming through us. That's it. Do it. That's what they should do. But of course, a girl can dream here too. That's what has to happen. And I think that we all should call our representatives and tell them that they need to, stop being, a Republican light. And because their silence is their complicity too, with their assaults on trans people. Now's the time to stand up even more with, ferociously for trans people, because this is they're under attack. And as we, all the fascist rhetoric where the Democrats were warning about the incoming fascist government, but yeah, trans people were the first attacked by the Nazis in the 20th century, and here we are again too. So even another example of how Democrats have to,
which makes what Pedro Sanchez said today in Madrid so trenchant, and so absolutely truthful.
There were others, I was looking it up, who spoke up for Sarah. So it was Hakeem Jeffries, it says.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. It's Whip Catherine Clark, Chair Peter Aguilar, Nancy Pelosi, Leader Joe Nagise, Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, Pramila Jayapal, Sarah Jacobs, Ayanna Pressley, the usual. Gabe Amo, Pat Ryan, Mikey Sherrill.
Yeah, Mikey Sherrill.
Right. So, and it says they endorsed. This might be. I asked the AI. This might not be now. This might be just their endorsements. Actually, I said which representatives have spoken up in support of Sarah McBride, but I wasn't. I should let me ask.
And see, one of the things that Mullah Moses Mike Johnson did by doing exactly what I predicted he would do, is he forestalled any debate.
Right. Because he's a coward.
The only time it was possible to say something was in that couple of weeks before the new Congress came in and was sworn, and that was when the silence was roaring.
Right.
Yeah, bonus for anybody who knows where that phrase comes from. At least a Ramalama Ding Dong. The silence was roaring. but it, I'm, and the sad thing is, yeah, Mike Johnson declared that she is not a woman,
Right.
and that is the crux of this problem.
Motherfucker.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got no problem saying that. When, and sometimes it works out this way. When his end comes, and he is such an odious, miserable, awful piece of shit.
He's in the fucking closet. I hope he suffers every fucking day.
Do you know what he did to his father?
Who, Johnson? No.
Yeah. His father was, I'm pretty sure, a rock-ribbed Republican, but because of excesses of the chemical industry there, and there's a part of Louisiana that's called Cancer Alley because of all the chemical plants and everything. And there was a plan, I forget exactly what they were going to do, an incinerator, something like that, and it was going to make everybody sick. And Mike Johnson's dad became an activist. Because that's what happens sometimes.
Yes. When you feel
when it comes to when
the leopards eat your
when
face.
reality isn't happening in somebody else's backyard, but it's in yours.
Yep.
So Mike Johnson's dad became an activist against whatever this chemical company plan was. And his young son had just become a member of the Louisiana state legislature. And he went to him and he said, "Son, I hope that you'll stand with your daddy against this." And that fine, good, God-fearing, upstanding, Bible-believing, Christ-centered, evangelical, fundamentalist, homosexual, Republican Christian Mike Johnson said, "Fuck you, Daddy." And a few years later, Mike Johnson's daddy died of cancer.
Wow. So he didn't stand up for his father.
No, hell no.
What did he do?
He stood up for the people who were writing his checks from the fucking chemical industry.
Shit. Could you imagine? That is your son. Oh my God, what a piece of shit. What a horrible, disgusting person.
Pathetic excuse for a member of the human race.
Wow.
And therefore, predictably, a Christian.
Of course. And someone that has no decency, integrity, and will sell not only his own father, his mother, his country, his community, he'll sell his goddamn soul to this con man and the fascist takeover of a country struggling to live up to its ideals. That are way over Mike Johnson's head. That's the thing. So beyond these people. Decency. They don't have the manners, the decency, the maturity, the integrity to actually abide by the Constitution, the principles of democracy. They hate that. So talking about respecting diversity and go be a Christian, go do what your God told you and pray in the closet. You don't have to pray on the house floor like they do, these fucking phony posers. They sit in a circle and pray on the house floor so everybody can see, and Getty can take a good photo and put it up for all the the corporate media to share. It's just unbelievable. But because
and I was talking a minute ago about how we're having to rely on foreign leaders to troll this bag of shit that's entering the White House. Mm-hmm. Props to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico.
Oh wow, good for her. Yeah, she's been great. So what did
she
she
used
do?
her Wednesday news conference to absolutely troll Nitwit Nero.
Oh, and he's going to fall for it all the time.
With a 1607 map that shows...
Oh, that's awesome.
America Mexicana.
Oh, nice,
Mexican
nice.
America. Speaking in Spanish, of course. She said, "Why don't we call it Mexican America? Sounds pretty, no?"
That's great.
And
I hope
so
she keeps it
since
up.
I'm studying Spanish, I want to see how many words I pick up here. You mind?
Yeah, no, please.
Digo, obviamente, Golfo de México es reconocido el nombre por Naciones Unidas, un organismo de Naciones Unidas, pero el siguiente, ¿por qué no le llamamos América Mexicana? Se oye bonito, ¿no? ¿Verdad que sí?
That's
Desde
great.
1607.
Sí, oye, bonito, ¿no?
Yeah, I have a picture
La
of it.
Constitución de Apatzingán era de América Mexicana.
There
Entonces,
she is.
Vamos a llamarle
Mexican.
América Mexicana. Se oye bonito, ¿no? Y Golfo de México, pues, desde 1607 y además está reconocido internacionalmente. Bueno,
And so she doesn't even refer to him as a bag of mierda. But she got the point across. And you know, we as a country are so fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Tara.
No doubt. Yeah, yeah. And
Because
that's by
this is-
design. They want
This is kind of in
make
my
it stupider.
wheelhouse of one of my favorite subjects back, you know, when I was writing my dinosaur to college. You know why we call it Mexico?
Why?
Or why they call it Mexico?
Mm-mm.
Prior to the invasion by Spain, the Valley of Mexico, which was a beautiful place, and the Spanish absolutely ruined it. The Valley of Mexico had a great big lake in it. They thought of it as three lakes: Lake Texcoco, and I can't remember the other two. There may have been more than three. But the most beautiful, most populous, cleanest city in the entire world sat in the Valley of Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
which the people who lived there called Incamanawak, the heart of the one world. And the dominant language was Nahuatl. I have no idea what to do with that L after that T. They can say it. I can't. I'm too white.
I can't say that.
But the dominant people were folks like the Otomi, the Tezcalteca, and a Wani come lately group called the Mexica. And they had migrated late into the Valley of Mexico, and the already settled people were like, you know, there's not a lot of room here. Why don't you move into the swamp? Which they did. And they reclaimed the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
And they built that most beautiful city in the world, Tenochtitlan, which is now Mexico City.
Hmm.
And we call it Mexico. They called it Mexico. The Spanish called it Mexico. The indigenes never called it Mexico. It's just like we say we talk about the Aztecs.
Mm-hmm.
The Aztecs did not call themselves the Aztecs. They called themselves the Mexica.
Okay.
And so Mexico is named after the original indigenous inhabitants of that area.
Okay, that's interesting.
The
I didn't know that.
Mexica. The language is beautiful. It is still spoken by about 1 million Mexican citizens
that's
as their
interesting.
first language. You know, how many indigenous groups do we have in the United States?
I don't know off the top of my head.
That wasn't the whole question. Hold on. How many indigenous groups do we have in the United States that have 1 million native speakers of their language? There aren't a million Navajo,
No.
Diné. There aren't 1 million Hopi. There aren't 1 million Cherokee. There aren't 1 million Anishinaabe, Chippewa. The languages still exist, but not spoken by 1 million people.
That's interesting.
And stand on the streets of New York. Hell, stand on the streets of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
When it's not burning. And ask people, why do we call Mexico Mexico?
Oh, no one. I didn't know.
The only people who are going to be able to answer that question are Mexicans. Or people of Mexican ancestry.
Well, America's very ignorant, so.
But the funny thing is, he objects to the word Mexico in Gulf of Mexico. Is he going to change the name of the Alabama River? Or the Tennessee?
But he will. Yeah.
Or the Kentucky River?
Yeah, if he.
Or the Mississippi? Or the Ohio? Or the Kanawha?
If he knew, yeah. Well, why? If it could annoy somebody, if it could annoy indigenous people, yeah.
Yeah, he's hated indigenous people in North America, in the United States, longer than he's hated Mexicans.
Of course.
Because they got in the way of his goddamn casinos.
Yes.
He testified in Congress.
I remember. We have clips of it.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a little worked up. I apologize.
It's fine. Don't apologize. But I was looking at.
I just hate this goddamn stupidity.
Yeah, the stupidity
with the
is
heat of
mind-numbing.
Of a million suns.
And it's only going to get worse because it's like being a dumbass is now the American birthright. If you try to educate or if you are educated, you're woke or you're,
right.
You're a retard.
It's the opening of. It's the opening of idiocracy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this.
Amazing advancements were made in medical science. And then you see Cletus getting impaled, in his crotch. And fortunately, medical science was able to restore full functionality and reproductive capability to Cletus. And the next scene you see is, back in the projects, Cletus going, oh, yeah, I'm going to fuck all of y'all. It's who we are now.
Yes, it's embarrassing. Yep. It's very embarrassing. And that's why I have I just have no patience, and I'm not I do not forgive. I will not forgive, and I will not forget anyone who voted for this. They will feel the pain of it one day, not from me particularly, but they'll feel it. It'll happen one day. And shame on them. Shame on them all. This is not going to age well in history's light. That's what we all know. We know that for a fact. That this is not going to end well. And it will not proceed well either. It's going to be a shit show. And a lot of people are going to get hurt. And there's going to be a lot of pain. And what's really worse, too, is it's already begun, of course. What I was looking forward to with electing Harris would be that finally we could stop hearing that fucking baboon's voice, his name.
Well, I think you're. Don't take me wrong. I love you. I think you're a little naive in that regard. If Kamala Harris had won by a fucking roaring landslide, he would still be screaming, "It was stolen from me."
That's true. That's true.
I mean, the damage he has done is not going to go away.
No, until we have had enough of it. Yeah, and it's not going to. We will not have enough of it, anytime soon because of the disinformation. So, that's the problem. It's the gaslighting that continues to get worse, and now Zuckerberg and Musk,
and this kind of they're. I mean,
like
we're in the what did they say? What did the Soviet citizens say back in the day?
There's no news in Pravda, and
there's no TASS in Pravda and no Pravda in TASS.
Mm-hmm. No truth in news, and there's no news in truth.
Yeah. Well, here we are.
Yeah. Well, I do have one good thing. I don't know if you saw this. According to the Huffington Post, the DOJ will release Special Counsel Jack Smith's findings in the January 6th probe. That's what it says. Prosecutors say an expected 2-volume report detailing charges and decisions will be partially held back. So.
Okay, can I take that apart?
Well, I hope. I don't know. I just saw this on the Huffington Post as an alert. It's a special counsel Jack Smith.
No. I read about this earlier. Volume 1 is going to be the January 6th proceedings in Washington D.C. Volume 2 is going to be the stolen documents case in South Florida.
Oh, okay. But I mean, it's coming out at least.
And,
it's not.
And so hold on. Hold on.
Don't. Are you raining on my parade here? Oh shit. Oh boy.
I'm sorry. They took my brain out. They took my brain out and turned me into a lawyer several years ago.
For a second, I got excited when I saw that alert on Huffington Post. I'm like, yay!
Well, it may yet happen.
Okay.
But so the Aileen Cannon has asserted jurisdiction.
Bitch. Right.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, but this alert just came up on Huffington Post, so it's not something new.
I'm telling you, I had it hours ago.
Oh, all right. Tell me about it. Tell me what happened.
So Aileen Cannon asserted jurisdiction of investigations, which is just batshit crazy.
Yes, she has no fucking jurisdiction.
Both and she tried to ban the release of both reports.
Yes, because she's.
Well,
that's what you do.
She tried to ban the release.
Yeah, that's what you do when you're a maggot.
She's stupid, and she assumed that it would just be one book. Anybody who's ever ordered from Time Life Books knows that they come one volume at a time. But she's a dipshit.
She has
so the appeal of her ruling is sitting before the 11th United States Circuit Court of Appeals, and should be ruled on by about tomorrow.
Yes.
With regard to Volume 2, because see, Nitwit Nero has forgot about Waltine Nauta and his other co-conspirator. Those motherfuckers are still going to trial.
Right.
Because she only dismissed the counts against Nitwit Nero.
Mm-hmm.
So the nominally crazy, batshit crazy 11th Circuit Court of Appeals is going to rule imminently on Volume 2.
Ugh, so sick of this shit.
The DOJ is taking the position that she has no jurisdiction whatever over Volume 1, and so Nitwit Nero will be running off to try to stop the release of Volume 1. And the problem with that is the nature of American jurisprudence is such that even if you file something incredibly stupid, such as, begging the Supreme Court, who does not have fucking jurisdiction,
right,
to stop a sentencing in state court in New York, and that should be the first point of objection by the state of New York, because I'm sorry, I'm way off in the weeds now, but we're just going to have to.
We have to live with it.
There is a principle in American jurisprudence, and I don't know if Steve in New York is still listening, but I think he'll, or Billable Rick, who may not have power or phone. But jurisdiction can be raised in a court of law at any time. If at any point in time counsel realizes, hey, court, you have no business hearing this, then they can raise that, and the court will go, holy shit, we don't. Okay, bye. And so when the Supreme Court said to Alvin Bragg, show up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., that was the court actually saying, because they're corrupt and they're thugs and whatever, but they're saying, come in here at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning and tell us we don't have jurisdiction. And that's probably, I hope that's what Alvin Bragg does.
Okay. Just to slow it down.
No, just to stop it in its tracks.
No, but I mean, they're doing it to slow it down. Is that it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can raise any kind of craziness, especially if you have enough money for the lawyers.
Right.
And right. Put it, the word sabotage. A sabot was a wooden shoe, and that's what French workers used to do. They'd take their wooden shoes off, and they'd throw it in the cogs of the machinery. The machinery would stop, and that's where we get the word sabotage.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm a nerd.
I don't know.
What
You're going in many directions, and it's hard.
Well, but the whole point is, they say they're going to. They've said release it. By saying they're going to release it, they've given notice to Nitwit Nero's pettifoggers, who are now going to have a baby, and
so it's
bill
not going.
Nitwit
So
Nero
I
another
should just,
bajillion dollars.
Okay.
They may release it. The question, but if there's a court filing over it, if they wanted to release it on Friday, or if they wanted to release it on January 20th, my personal
they should
favorite.
fucking just release it. I mean, this is what I'm talking about with these fucking Democrats.
Do you
Excuse
remember
my
the
language.
Pentagon Papers?
Right. Just fucking leak it. Leak it, mother effers. Merrick Garland. Why don't you make up for being such a disgusting, spineless co-conspirator of traitor Trump by extension, or maybe by design, who knows, and release it. Just fucking release it. Meet somebody in a parking lot. Give him the...
Well, what a pity. What a pity we have Merrick Garland.
I know. He's going to be eviscerated by history, too. What a I mean, I just can't even believe what we've been through with all of these trials, from watching January 6th to everything else that this pig has done. Stealing classified documents, everything. The porn star, the 34 felonies, the trying to calling up the Secretary of State of Georgia and saying, "Find me the votes." We have him on audio. We have his.
After 4 years of Merrick Garland, you know who I'd love to be a fly on the wall for?
Who?
Barack Obama.
Oh, I know.
Wouldn't you love to be just be sitting there?
Unreal.
At Martha's Vineyard, fly on the wall,
listen,
and have one of his pals look at him and go, "Holy shit, dude!
Right.
You wanted that fucker
I know,
on the Supreme Court."
I know. And I'm really mad at Joe Biden. He should have fired his ass. It's just so It's just.
He's an institutionalist.
Yeah, I mean, give me a break here. He should have gotten rid of him when he saw the year pass and got this asshole not doing anything about charging.
Do you realize what
for
a
the
trick
coup.
box? Do you realize what a trick box the maggots put Joe Biden in with everything he wanted to do? If he had fired Merrick Garland with them screaming that Merrick Garland was a partisan prosecutor.
Whatever.
And then replaced him with somebody who actually wanted to do their job.
Well, I guess that's what he was afraid of.
The maggots would have immediately transformed. You were raised Catholic.
Yeah.
They would have canonized Merrick Garland.
Of course. But that's what... They do that anyway. They will do it anyway, no matter what. And... it's not like Merrick Garland's a hero to them. They might be saluting him behind closed doors, but thinking they're lucky stars that but what they really are, they're thanking their lucky stars that Democrats are so weak, and they know it. They know that Democrats can be played.
And that's why they kick us again and again and again to make sure we remember get kicked.
Yep. And the Democrats just say, "Oh well." They don't even say thank you. They say that's okay. We won't kick you back. They constantly model good behavior, and hopefully one day it's like having an out of control toddler that doesn't learn and never grows up, never learns, never sees the light, and is constantly you're trying to model good behavior because that's what you do as an adult. But it's not working. The child needs a fucking spanking at this point. or something. It needs more. It needs, legally and peacefully.
Stand in the corner and stand in the corner and make sure your nose is touching both walls.
Yeah, well, it needs something, a punishment it will remember. It needs to know that you're not going. So that's what kids do anyway. They just push and push and push.
Careful. You're moving into Reverend Dobson
I'm not talking
territory.
about child abuse. I was an abused child, so it sucks. Trust me.
Same.
So yeah, but I'm just saying it feels like the Democrats.
Until they cry real tears, right?
Yeah, right. But the you can be tough and fight like you're on the right side of history, and which you are, and talk about your successes without apology, without trying to bring these fucking maggots in who do nothing, who do fuck all for the American people. Even with Johnson and Hakeem Jeffries. When Johnson said, it was so great. We went to a bipartisan church service and I read this poem or this prayer, and then I'm going to read it now. And did Jeffries get on the news after, or whoever had him on stand up on the corporate media? Did he even say, once again, I'm just disappointed that not only did Johnson read a fake poem or prayer, and attributed to Thomas Jefferson, which he does all the time. I don't know why he continues to do it. He did it again and read it to the American people. It's disgraceful.
And you know what? It drives me crazy because there's a way to counter that. It's like, oh, great, you're reading from a prayer from a white guy who raped his black slave. Cool for you, dude.
True, but he's not even. It's not a Thomas Jefferson prayer.
It's not true, right?
It's a lie. But the Democrat not only did the corporate media not see, wouldn't that be? Let me just say, it's sort of like what we're talking about, different rules for Democrats and Republicans. If Joe Biden read a fake quote on the House floor, into the congressional or whatever, at the State of the Union, or if any Democrat, if Hakeem Jeffries made up a quote from somebody, anybody, don't you think it would be pointed out by the corporate media? Of course they would.
They'd savage him.
Yes. And they would, if it was Joe Biden, they'd use it as look, he's got dementia. If it was any other Democrat, they'd use it as look, they're corrupt. They're,
Okay, I got one for you. Not that it's a joke or anything. It's not. But you do know that the news broke that Nitwit Nero, a couple of days before he filed this bullshit with the Supreme Court, had a little chatty chat with Sammy Bad Breath Alito.
Really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was supposedly about Sammy talking to his daddy to recommend one of his former clerks for a government job. That's all.
Wow. One hand washes the other in this circle jerk of corruption.
And there's, again, law nerd. There is a thing called ex parte communications. In other words, you don't go and sit down and say, "Hey, Judge, how you doing? Hey, look, I just happen to have a pint of Old Overholt in my pocket here. Would you like a shot?" And you sit and you have a couple of shots of liquor, and next thing you know, the judge rules the way you want in your case. Those are really not supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Those can get a judge bounced from the bench.
Not on the Supreme Court.
But IOKIYAR, it's okay if you're a Republican.
Right, absolutely.
Remember how Sammy Bad Breath went duck hunting with Richard B. Dick Big Time Cheney before he dicks you?
Yep.
Well, it's happened again.
What?
It's happened again. Nitwit Nero called up Sammy Bad Breath. Alito didn't call Trump. Trump called Sammy.
Jesus Christ! What happened to this? The separation of powers and shit.
And so now they're going to rule, but this is a hilarious moment from Chicken Noodle News.
that.
Yeah, this is almost unheard of, Wolf, for an incoming president. But what we are learning and what CNN has just confirmed is that President-elect Trump did speak with Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito in recent days. And we are getting a statement from Justice Alito himself.
Notice the equivocative way that a call between. I don't give a shit about a call between. I want to know who called whom.
Right. True.
Saying that it was at the recommendation of a former law clerk of his who wanted him to call the president-elect on his behalf and recommend him for a job in the Trump administration, in his government. Now, it is not unusual for Supreme Court justices to call and make recommendations on behalf of their former clerks. That's why half of them go and clerk in the first place, so it can help them, of course, with job placement. But what makes all of this so unusual is, of course, that call came one day before Trump's legal team filed that emergency appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court to try to delay his sentence.
And isn't that cool? Isn't that cool, Tara? Because if I pulled something like that in a shitty little circuit court in West Virginia, that judge would be off the case. And my ass would have sanctions on it.
And you're going to tell me, or they're going to tell us they didn't discuss this?
Right. But the fun thing is, and this is the important part.
Clerk. We never touched it.
There are ethics rules for the Supreme Court, but there is no enforcement mechanism whatsoever.
Of course. Well, that's what Robert said. He was so upset that how dare the plebs can even think that there's a stench of corruption around the court. He was so indignant about it. How dare they? There's this perceived. It was beneath him to even have to write something about it. That he even had to address it was a scandal in itself. That there was this stench of corruption on the court, and how the people they had this misconceived notion that people were taking bribes and shit. It's like, get me the fuck out of here.
Oh, I get it.
Where are the aliens?
Speaking of which, I'm going to get the fuck out of here before
that's a good one.
Before my toes freeze off my feet.
Okay. Does it help? The heater help at least?
Well, yeah, but I mean the gas bottle burned out a while back.
So you don't have gas? But you have it to put in it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, bitch. Yeah. All right.
It's a radio show, girl. It's like,
all right.
Yeah. It's like, no, Tara, you go. I'm going to change the gas bottle. Are you kidding me?
You could say that. I don't know. How long does it take?
I love you so much.
Change the gas prop. Wow. How long does it take? You just say, hey, hold on.
Take it. Take
it,
Tara.
Bitch. I got to change.
Take it, Tara.
I'm
going to change the gas bottle.
How long does it take to change a gas bottle? Not long. It takes like
about 3 minutes.
Yeah, you could do that. You could. What? I mean. Ooh, yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's go because I got to go to bed. I'm tired. The cats kept me up all night. I told you this. It was really unbelievable. I don't know what the hell was happening. I'm not even kidding. Like I must, when you're
little Lucy Purr sleeps next to my room every night. The little tortie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she waits till I fall asleep, and then she starts singing the song of her people.
Oh,
I don't know if she thinks it's a lullaby.
I wonder what's going on there. Oh, that's odd. You have other cats though, right?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. I had a cat. Well, I was fostering a cat that did that. It was really fucked up. I had to.
Oh, Lucy. Oh, no. Yeah. Lucy's such a precious little baby. She would love. As soon as it
turned night, though, she would howl, right? Like.
No, every night is her night.
Right. But I mean, I remember that I had a similar situation with a cat that I had to go sleep on the couch sometimes because she wouldn't shut up at night. And then when you thought she quieted down, it would start up again. But it wasn't like she was in heat or anything. It was just like she was howling.
She just wants to be in the bedroom with me, and I can't let her because
she'll
get exploratory. there's a heater with open
Oh
flame
boy.
in the bedroom.
Oh boy, no good. I wonder if there's something you could do to keep her away from it. Maybe I'll have to send you some of these for just a present, because I talk about it on the show. I need to put it back on the computer for Boudica, because she fucked me over and she ruined
She fucked you over.
She did. She wrecked my I had 2 hard drives, and she knocked over my whole computer desk. It was my fault, because I guess it wasn't balanced. You know, I have this standing desk, but it wasn't balanced correctly, I guess. When I left it, I was in the other room, and next thing you heard everything crash, and I came in, and the computer, everything was on the floor. You know, it was crazy. And I didn't know. I put everything back together, but both of my external hard drives were kaput. Yeah, they wouldn't load, they wouldn't launch, they wouldn't mount, and I tried everything to get them. I've never had that happen, and they didn't really fall that far, and they're good drives. They cost good money, you know. And I had to buy a new drive with my fucking Christmas money and everything, and the help of the community. Thank you very much, everybody, and JD. And Charlie from APS,
wonderful?
Yeah, Charlie from APS Radio News for keeping, you know, the show going and growing and all that. And also,
I love Charlie.
Yes, Charlie's great, and he helps the community cats. He helps me. He helps the show. He helps you.
Charlie was so kind to me. I posted my New Year's Eve photo, and he was like, "Oh my God, you're gorgeous! And I'm so happy. I'm so happy for the work you do." It just did so much for my heart.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I wasn't on Facebook. And that's one thing. Now what? Do I get rid of Facebook completely? I mean, I have the Tarabuster.
I'm gonna back way the hell off. I mean,
yeah.
The thing is, I mean, I still post the podcast on Shitter and
right.
But
yeah.
Anything I have to say that's important, I say it on Blue Sky.
Yeah, I got to get more into doing Blue Sky. And
can't trust Threads.
No.
And one of the sad things is Threads. A lot of trans women, and I don't know about trans guys, but a lot of trans women are really active on Threads.
Really?
And ladies get off it. If you don't want to be called it.
Oh yeah.
Get off it.
Right. It's so disgusting. I can't. How is this happening? How is this effing happening? It's so vile. But the only thing that's really a saving grace. It's not a saving grace. It's it's just the hope. A little sliver of hope is that this will not be tolerated. It will swing back the other way, but for when and who's going to be, what damage will be done in the meantime? Because this is not okay. Because if, you know, kids acted like this, like the way they act, well, we're supposed to, you know, they're allowed to act now, right, on social media, they would be punished. They would be put in detention. Like if kids behaved like Trader Trump or Elon Musk, man-child Musk, you know, oh, F you, retard, in a student election, they would be disqualified. But not for running the government of the United States. And how can this be tolerated for forever? It won't be. I don't give a shit what Zuckerberg says. He's like, oh, we overcorrected. We went too far. We were politically biased. Bullshit. And now I'm repeating myself, I know. So, because, whatever. We got more to talk about later.
Yeah, and you know what?
We need to get unconscious.
Just a gentle reminder. Next week, all 5 days.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be covering
this
for
show,
Mike.
Your show, Mike's show.
Right. There'll be a lot of show.
Total Robyn and Tara overload.
Yes, and it won't. I mean, the thing is, there will not be we won't be at a loss for subject matter. That's the thing, and I wish we were. You know, and now I keep thinking because, you know, Facebook destroyed Republican Dirty Tricks, the website I used to have. They killed, my Facebook page, which had a lot of followers. It had over 200,000 or more, right? It took a long time to build, and they destroyed it. There might have been more. It might have been like 250,000 followers. It was a pretty good big amount that was growing.
No. It was very busy.
Yeah,
I remember.
I know, and they fucked it. They took it down. They took it down when they were. That was when the maggots were. Crying about.
They reverse content moderated your ass.
Yes, because.
By the way, I just sent a note to Mike. And just said, hey, are the fires screwing up your travel plans?
Oh,
so
okay.
I'll wait and see.
Stay tuned, yeah.
Tara, it has been a lovely evening. Thank you so much. I actually cherish these Wednesdays.
Me too.
I've come to look forward to them.
Me too.
I wish I just felt and sounded better.
No, you sound fine. I don't know how you feel, but yeah, you sound fine. I feel I'm tired.
I feel like I've got 16 bags of Quikrete in my head. That's how I feel.
Well, you need to really go and do your fire thing and get bundled up and go to sleep.
Doing
a nice,
my
warm
fire
bed.
thing sounds like a ritual, but
right, like dance naked around the fire and go to sleep.
Not in this weather.
Right, exactly.
I love you.
All right,
take
honey.
Care.
All right,
See
I
ya.
will talk to you later.
Later,
Kada. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Of course, that's the great Robyn Kincaid. Thank you for supporting both of us and supporting Mike, our mentor. All of our mentor. He's the king of the triumvirate. All right, listen, guys. Let's see. I want to say thank you, Jim, for your super chat. I missed the super chats when they came in, so catching up here. Thank you, Pookie's Mama Irene, for your super chat and your very cute emoji. Thank you, Lava Q, for your super chat. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, my friend. And Non-Useful, who was very useful, says Meta and Mark Zuckerberg remove long-standing anti-LGBTQ hate speech policies after announcing end of fact-checking program. Yes, and we did talk about that. Just what a damn disgrace. And also Non-Useful sent another super chat. Thank you, Non-Useful, who is very useful, and saying, Tara, don't forget the evangelical offering plates still going in orange Jesus's slimy pockets to this day. Of course, because then there's no standard anymore. These evangelical so-called Christians, they literally preach from the pulpit that voting for Democrats is tantamount to sin, and if you do, you're going to hell and shit like that. So they should lose their tax-exempt status, but they don't care because there's no standards, there's no rules anymore. And how much longer are we going to take it? I guess I'm going to have to revise that saying, because I used to say that all the time under George W. Bush. How much longer are we going to take it? Really? How much longer? But I got to ask, how much longer are we going to take it? Hopefully, not too much longer. God help us. At least we have the midterms coming. I can't believe I have to wait for, not just me, 4 fucking years of this shit. And it's not even begun. It feels like a goddamn year in the past month. Look at me. I act like I aged 1,000 years in a month. All right, guys, I gotta go. I'm tired. And yes, and Jim says, I have to hope Trump lasts 4 years now. Exactly. I agree. Because then we get J.D. Vance, who is an even more clever fascist. He's more devious and evil. And for those who are asking about Ray, as you can see, Ray is up there. Hey, Ray. Ray, hi, baby. People were asking, where's Ray? Because they saw Boudica, Tara Jr., and Francis Jr., but no Ray. But here he is. Hi, Boo-Boo. How you doing? He's a good boy. It's hard to see him sometimes. When he was a kitten, I had to put him in a yellow protective vest. Kind of not protective, but it was like for kittens though. It was yellow, so it would catch the light because I was constantly kicking him and sitting on him. It just blends in, right? He's hard to spot. Yeah. All right, guys, I love you. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. Love you too. Thank you for all you do to keep the show going and growing, keeping me emotionally stable. It means the world, and I can't do it without you. I can't do it without all of you. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator in the chat room. All the glory that comes with, I'm sure, is worth it. And the grief. All right, my loves. We will get together again on Friday. In the meantime, stay safe, stay awesome, stay frosty, and remember, we will win. We will win one day, eventually. Why? Because we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, Robyn, for hanging out with me and us. My name is Tara Devlin. We stick together, we win. I'll see you very soon.